Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we have a deck that I've been meaning to take a look at for quite some time, but I'll be honest, I forgot it existed, and that's not the deck's fault, that's my fault. Today we're going to be playing Clefairy EX, well Lillie's Clefairy EX to be more precise, with Teal Mask Ogerpon. This was a deck that was actually relatively common when it first came out, but nowadays you don't really see this deck. So I had to do some digging to find a list, and then obviously I've done my own changes and everything. But ultimately, this was actually quite a fun list to make. So as per normal, in the description below there's going to be the usual timestamps. It's going to be the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description. And of course there's going to be the decks, or the matches that we'll play. And of course the outro where we'll talk about the deck. So the whole idea, of course, is we're using Clefairy EX as our main attacker. Obviously against dragon matchups, this makes it a breeze pretty much. So what that does, of course, is with the Fairy Zone, we have the opponent's Dragon Pokemon now have a weakness, that of course being Psychic. Of course, since we're mainly attacking with Clefairy anyway, that's going to be a pretty big advantage. Now obviously 190 HP is not a lot for a 2-prizer. And obviously our backup Pokemon, that being Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, only has 210. So that's not a lot. But we'll go into why this deck has a bit of an advantage than you might think once we get into the deck list. We're also playing one copy of Volcanion EX. This is our way of dealing with Pikachu in the Joltik box matchup. It's so we can promote Volcanion, burn the Pikachu, then hit it with the Clefairy, and hopefully we can knock it out and, well, damage it to the point where it's on 10, and then the burn, which does 2 damage counters, finishes it off. So that's the idea behind the Volcanion. We cannot attack with Volcanion, but obviously the burn can also just help out buff our damage a little bit more. Otherwise, we've got the usual squad of Mew, Fez, Bear, and of course Squawk. But otherwise, let's go to the deck list and let's have a look. And welcome to the deck list. So of course we do have a pure 2-prizer deck. So this can be quite obviously, you know, it might turn off some people from it, but there is a tool card that helps us deal with that. So of course we're playing 4 Lillie's Clefairy, 4 Teal Mask Ogerpon, so we can get as much grass energy into play to Energy Switch, 1 Latias, 1 Mew, 1 Fez, 1 Volcanion for obviously the Joltik box matchup, and also the Joldengo matchup as I'm calling it, 1 Squawk, and 1 Bloodmoon. Of course, this is pretty normal for these Clefairy lists. Some are playing a Badoo, but I don't think you need that. Then we're playing 4 Research, 3 Iono, 2 Boss, and 1 Penny for a little bit of healing. Obviously, we don't have any Pokegears in here, and there isn't really any room for any. But you could probably cut down on the Vessel count, maybe cut down on the Ultra Ball count, but that's obviously your discretion. We're playing 4 Nest Ball, 4 Energy Switch, because obviously we need to get grasses onto Clefairies. 3 Ultra Ball, 3 Earthen Vessel, 2 Night Stretcher, 1 Energy Retrieval. Prime Catcher is our ace spec. I'm going to talk about this tool card last. 1 Bravery Charm just to beef up our boys if we need it. Then, of course, 3 areas that are under decks because we're playing Teal Mask Ogerpon, so we might as well use it. 7 Grass Energy and 3 Psychic. Now then, Lillie's Pearl. This is going to be our main tool card of the deck. So if the Lillie's Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, that player takes 1 fewer prize card. You could go one step further and play Legacy Energy in this list, but I don't think it's worth it. I think just having the Prime Catcher is just not only another way of gusting, but also it's an extra pivot. So if you have if you need to Volcanion a Pikachu, you can Prime Catcher the Pikachu, send up Volcanion, burn it with Volcanion, free retreat with Latias, and then go in with a Clefairy. So that's sort of the reason for that. But obviously we're playing 4 copies of this Lillie's Pearl. There's no way to actually search them in this list, so that's something to consider. But genuinely, this is what makes this deck a little less daunting instead of just being a pure 2-prize deck with low HP. The fact that we can make our Lillie's Clefairy a 1-prizer, and we can put a Bravery Charm on one of the Teal Mask Ogerpons, definitely helps out in some matchups. You might think that Dragapult should be a breeze for us, but actually it's not. It's not going to be easy for us to deal with Dragapult. Because obviously they can just go 2-2-2 on our various support Pokemon. We can obviously limit it to just Clefairies in play, but we will need at least 1 Teal Mask to obviously accelerate energy and then Energy Switch. And obviously with our manual attachment as well, that can also add up. But ultimately, looking forward to playing this list and hopefully we get some good games out of it. Let's get into a match and see how we do. And welcome to the first match. I've not been playing much of the ladder at the minute. I've been kind of having a break because, for those that don't know, because I put it on the main channel, but I didn't put a post out on this channel. I had a wisdom tooth out 2 days ago now. Just coming up to 2 days ago. So yeah, I had a little bit of a break from the ladder and everything. I feel completely fine of it, to be honest. Obviously, by the time this video goes out, it had been about a month since I had the wisdom tooth out, but honestly, not had any issues. No infection, no nothing. Okay, starting a bear and starting a Latias. And we're going first. That's not great. That's for sure. We've got no Clefairy. And it's Miraidon. Okay. Well, there's a Pearl. But that doesn't really help us. I'm just going to attach a Bravery Charm to Latias and pass. This is a really bad starting hand, like, jeez. That's really bad for us. And it's Joltik box. Okay, this is going to be tough. Tandem unit. Looks like we're going to need Volcanion in this matchup. Let's hope he's not prized. Just the one. Okay. Interesting move. Maybe the Pokemon they're looking for is prized? Well, there's Iron Hands, but he's not going to help you in this matchup. If anything, he's a burden. Obviously, Bloodmoon Ursaluna will be very good in the late game, so we need to make sure we keep an eye on our Night Stretcher count, because we only play 2. But Bloodmoon Ursaluna I put in as a last minute edit, because the original list that I found was playing a Bidoof. So immediately that came out. Because I don't see the value of a Bidoof in this list. It's not really something that, you know, you feel like you need it. Okay, then you can Mew for 3, get some draw. Because we are going to be dealing with Joltik, which is not a problem. So that's completely fine. Obviously, them not having a Latias is also something, well, a Latias in general is something to consider. Electric Generator. Okay, that's not common in Joltik Parks. They don't typically play that. Okay, 2 energies there. That's fine. I don't see why he's powering up the hands. The hands doesn't really do anything for him in this matchup. Unless he thinks he's playing against Bolt, I guess. Which, to be fair, that wouldn't be a bad idea. And there's the Jolting Charge. So obviously 2 Lightning, 2 Grass. He's probably going to spread it across his attackers. Nope, he's just... Hold on, are you literally playing Joltik just for Lightning Energy? Okay, sure. Right, let's Teal Dance first, get that energy into play. There's another one, excellent. So I'll pop down the Area 0. I am tempted to bench Bloodmoon, but I think it's not worth doing at this moment in time. And there we go, we have the Clefairy swing. So we can grab a Clefairy. Now we can actually prize check. So we haven't prized anything important, but we have prized one of our Clefairies. Otherwise, this looks standard prizing. We've also prized the Psychic... Well, no, we're not prized the Psychic Energy. It's fine. So we can Teal Dance again. Nope. There we go. So how much damage are we doing? We're doing 180 right now with the Clefairy. So I think it's fine to retreat here. So we can Energy Switch off of here onto there. Attach to the Clefairy. And we can go for a Full Moon Rondo for 180. Obviously not having the Pearl and not any way to actually get the Pearl is quite a problem, but we can work with it. Iron Hands isn't doing anywhere near enough, so we don't have anything to worry about. And there's one of our Pearls, so we can do that after they swing with the Iron Hands. They have no way of actually, like, powering up anything else. Like, they can potentially power up the Miraidon if they get a generator, but I suspect they're just playing Lightning Energy, because why would you play Joltik and not have the grass? You know, like, that's a little bit weird, in my opinion. But hey, I don't make decks around here, alright? Nest Ball for Zekrom. Zekrom is going to be a late game attacker, which we need to worry about. even if he gets Generator plus attachment onto Zekrom, it's still 10 short unless they play a Vitband. If they do play a Vitband, it's just how it is, but I don't think they do. They've not even Fezzed yet. This is a very strange build, is all I'll say. Like, the Mew, the Fez, that's fine. Same with the Zekrom and the Magnemite, but I don't get why they powered the hands, because you're not facing anything that hands can one-shot with the Ampy very much. Latias is Dark Weak, not Lightning Weak. Very interesting play from the opponent. There's an attachment onto the Miraidon. So they could, if I take out something with energy on it, I think they might give them the Magnemite to me. Because if they put a 2-prizer up, I can Iono Lily's Pearl and hopefully find 2 Pokemon. And let's see what they give us. Nope, they're attacking with the hands. Okay. So obviously with Lily's Pearl, that means he won't take 3 prizes after another attack. I think he's banking on me not finding enough Pokemon, and that's quite risky. Yes, it leaves him with another attacker, but I can just Lily's Pearl this. There's the arm press for 160. That's fine with me. There's another Teal Mass. That's good. So we can Lily's Pearl the active and play an Iono. So we need another 2 Pokemon to one-shot this this Iron Hands. Well, that's one of them. So we can... In fact, I'll split the energy out, so that way it's more consistent. Teal Dance. There's a Research. Excellent. We can use that for a bit of discard fodder. Teal Dance again. There's another Clefairy, so we have the knockout. So there you go, just to prove that. We can Energy Switch one of the energies onto the Lily's Clefairy. And then we could just do a big fat Full Moon Rondo for 240. Taking out the Iron Hands. I don't think they're expecting me to do that. Now, for obvious reasons, this Miraidon can just gust this one or any of our other 2 prizes, but we have the advantage here now. And there's a 4th Lily's Clefairy out the prizes. That's good. I will say it feels nice to actually have, the room for, you know, like, well, with crafting, that is, like crafting Pokemon and stuff. It feels good to, like, actually have that as an option now, because obviously before I was struggling to craft stuff, and thanks to me grinding the Battle Pass for a bit, I was able to just make whatever I like, so... But obviously, I keep the standard arts, so that way people can just copy and paste them, and they don't have to spend too many credits. So I don't bling out my decks like this. I never like doing that. I will say that I love this Magneton, this Magneton as a promo. It's so nice. Obviously, they can attack with the Zekrom now, which is a concern, but obviously it does do 30 to itself. So that's something we can use against it. And if we find another Pearl, then that's even better. But obviously it just depends on what they want to do, because obviously Zekrom is a dangerous attacker in the late game, but because we're so far ahead, I don't think we have anything to worry about. They can bounce the Stadium, which could be a problem, but we can deal with that. I just get rid of the Teal Mass with no energy on it. There's a Prime Catcher. What are they going to take out? The Fez, okay. Interesting decision. Taking out the Fez. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I'm not going to say my opinion on that. I think that's an acceptable choice. So I'll bring up the Clefairy. I kind of want to gust this Zekrom, but like Zekrom's not my concern right now. So we'll bench another 2 Lily's Clefairies. We can then Earthen Vessel away an Ultra Ball. Grab a Grass and a Psychic. And that's a concession. Excellent. I was going to attach the Psychic to the one that already had a Grass on it, and then Teal Dance the Grass. And then Research for turn. But no, that just proves, like, even if we are playing nothing but 2 prizes, it's not that big of a deal when we have something like Lily's Pearl. Let's go to a game 2. And welcome back. That was quite a smooth game against Miraidon. Joltik thingy. I don't know if they were even playing any Grass Energy. I don't know why you wouldn't, because, you know, it's an attacker, and having the option of Pikachu is just a no-brainer. Heck, you can even run Clefairy if you want to. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't play Grass Energy and obviously have the option of Pikachu, Zekrom in the earlier stages and stuff like that. I don't get that, but, well, that's not my decision to make. Alright, so, judging by the coin, I suspect we're up against a Enzarua and Zoroark. No, but that is a cornerstone. Now, we don't really play an answer to him, which is one of the many reasons why this list hasn't really done too well in places. I'll just do that one of each. I can attach to the Mew, because obviously Mew can attack into Cornerstone. So we do have the option of Mew, but I think for this list to go forward, it needs an answer to Cornerstone. You could play something like the baby, what is it? The baby Teal Mask Ogerpon. That could be an option. So what we got here then? It is... Oh, I think I know whose list this is. Is this Gabriel Fernandez's list? Because if so, I was kind of expecting to see something like this. Obviously, the Cornerstone is going to be a problem, but he played it for a reason. Like, there was a lot of Dengo at the event in Worlds, so I'm not surprised. Is it Gabriel Fernandez or Fernandez Cifuentes? I don't remember who it was, but I know they played a Cornerstone and they did have fighting energy in the list. So even though this is a problem, I ideally want to take out this Zorua next turn. Well, it'd be nice if I could. Obviously, Artisan is a dead card to us because we don't have anything that can be found off of Artisan. And there's a Reshiram, so that's fine. And that is a pass. Okay, no worries. So I'm just going to attach. I'll shuffle the deck with Artisan. And research. Okay, that doesn't really help us, but we can get a Teal Mask down. We can get 2 down, but still. Then we can Teal that. There's an Iono. I think we just pass from here. If a Zoroark comes in, so be it. We can deal with it. It's just not going to be easy to deal with it. So we can go with a Teal Mask Ogerpon and one-shot it, but for obvious reasons, this Cornerstone is going to be an issue. Okay, so let's think. So I can just attach to Mew and start swinging. So we'll just Iono. Okay, that's a Clefairy, that's good. So there's a Clefairy, because we can attack this Cornerstone now, which is pretty good. And then we can Genome Hacking, Copy Demolish. It says 0, but because PTCG Live is PTCG Live, it does go through, because Demolish specifically states this attack ignores any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So he can do the same to us, he can obviously hit us, but, you know. The main concern I'm having now is obviously we've seen 0 energy switches, which obviously means we are vulnerable to Zoroark's Night Joker soon. And we won't have a Teal Mask Ogerpon to respond to it. There's an Iono, I actually kind of needed that. And there's an Energy Switch, and a Grass Energy. So if he somehow doesn't take out this... okay, he's playing Turbo Energize. Okay, that's fine. We can deal with that. We can obviously take out the Cornerstone using Mew. There's another Zoroark. Ideally, we want to be taking out the Cornerstone, taking out a Zoroark, taking out a Zoroark. So we have plans here, let's just say. And yep, Turbo Energize for turn, that's fine. So we're not going to be using Clefairy in this matchup. Like, we can, but we need all 8 spaces available so we can one-shot a Zoroark for 280. So we definitely need options here. Bloodmoon is also good in the late game. So, let's Teal Dance to this Ogerpon. There's a Squawk. That doesn't really help us. We'll Nest Ball. Grab another Teal Mask. Do that. We'll put down another Clefairy just in case, and then we'll research. Okay, I was really hoping to find Prime Catcher off of that, but that's fine. So, we can attach a Psychic to Mew and Energy Switch the Grass off onto the Ogerpon. So that way the Ogerpon is ready to attack. And then we can Genome Hacking, Copy Demolish, and take out the Cornerstone. Yeah, this list definitely needs a way to deal with a Cornerstone, 100%. Like, Mew is just not the most efficient way of doing it. So how many E-Switch are we down? 2. So here comes the Zoroark. So I'm not too worried about the Zoroark. The issue is, and there's an immediate Iono, the issue is, of course, Zoroark, I think his list had a way to buff his damage with Poison, but I think he could only do it via Janine, but I think he also played Petrarun, so I can't remember the list because I didn't fully watch the final, I'll be honest. I went to bed. I was tired. I'd had a long day, and obviously the day after the finals was done, I had my Wisdom Tooth out, so yeah, I kind of had to prepare for that. Obviously, Night Joker obviously one-shots me because of the Dark Weakness, but we can come straight back in with the Teal Mask Ogerpon. So we definitely do have options here. We're not exactly out the woods because of this matchup. He can bring back the Cornerstone, which would be an issue, but we do play a decent kind of boss. Obviously, we've used one, and we don't have our Prime Catcher yet. So we do have options. We're not completely out the woods yet. I know this is turning into a Clefairy Mew, well, a non-Clefairy matchup, but, well, that's how you have to play it, unfortunately. And obviously, when you're against a second-place deck, built by someone who's very good at the game, and here's Secret Box, you kind of have to plan ahead, to say the least. If I am going to get rid of anything off this board, if he bumps the Stadium, and there's the Wellspring for Sublock, it's going to be the Volcanion. We don't need Volcanion. Volcanion without Latias down is just a big 3 retreat cost attack, well, non-attacker, which we don't need right now. I only really benched the Volcanion so we wouldn't get donked, but thankfully that didn't happen. I love how when decks like this drop, everyone just bum rushes to it. It's like the Joldengo list that I've seen, as I call them. Okay, so Turo's fine. We can deal with that. Air Balloon, and what was the other card? Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher back, was that for Cornerstone? Yeah, Cornerstone's coming back. Okay, that's an issue, but we can deal with that. Because if he attacks with Zoroark here, takes out the Mew, we take it out with Teal Mask, and then we ideally have game on the Fez with Bear. So we still have options here, and here comes the Night Joker. Like I say, the Cornerstone doesn't bother me, because we've obviously dealt with it once, we can do it again if we need to. So let's promote the Teal Mask with the energy on, and draw. So we're going to attach Bravery Charm to the Teal Mask Ogerpon, so that way we have a little bit more ability to do stuff. We're actually going to get back the Fez with our Night Stretcher, so we have a little bit more draw. Flip the script. That's pretty good. We can Iono that hand down, which is pretty good. We don't need to Energy Switch. We just Iono and thin that hand. Obviously they do have two, well they will have one Zoroark plus Fez, so we're not out the woods yet. Attach Lillie's Pearl, and then Mirror Leaf Shove 360 with weakness. Take out the Zoroark. Like I say, ideally we need to see our Prime Catcher soon. I think it's in deck, but I didn't prize check it, to be honest. That's what happens when Joe's playing a deck I don't really put my brain on for this sort of deck, but I digress. So yeah, we've done pretty well into this matchup. Like I said, we have grass coverage for the Zoroark. We have late game option with the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Obviously, the only issue is we cannot deal with Cornerstone, but you know, we can, but it's just not easy to do. And there's his bear, but that's fine. Trade. Because obviously Bear can't be poisoned by Janine because it has to be dark Pokemon. We can Bear and do 240 to one of our boys, but we can deal with that. In fact, was our Energy Retrieval in there? So both our Night Stretchers are down. We still might have our Energy Retrieval, so we can still have options here. I'm not too worried about this matchup. I kind of suspected I would run into the masks with Zoroark, to be honest, and obviously the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, but I'm not particularly worried. Counter Catcher, targeting who? The Fez. Okay, that's fine. Do you have a way to build stadium? Is the question. Speaking of that, how many stadiums are we down? There's an Arven. He played Stamp, didn't he? Well, he's not grabbing Stamp, that's for sure. Oh no, it's a Secret Box. I've really played Stamp for some reason, I don't know why. There's a Retreat, into the Blood Moon, ends PP. He's an Energy Switch though, that's the thing. Oh nope, he's got the Fighting Energy in hand. So Blood Moon can swing for 240. Take out our Fez, which is not a major deal. So we find Prime, we win. It's like when you have your Amazon Prime on. Find Prime, you win. Okay, there's a Pearl, so we can do that. We can then Teal Dance and Energy onto you. I'm going to Ultra Ball you and you. I'm going to make sure Prime's in there. Prime is. So how much damage are we doing right now? 150, so nowhere near enough for this Blood Moon. Okay. Little bit concerning, but he won't be able to shift his Blood Moon too easily. So, let's Energy Retrieval. I could have probably E-switched this one onto a Clefairy to make sure, but I didn't know I was going to get a Energy Retrieval. So that's Teal Dance. So there's Pearl, Teal Dance, Energy Switch, okay. So how much damage doing right now? 210. That's Nest Ball. It sucks that both our Gusting cards are near the bottom of the deck. We could lose because of that, but I'm just going to Teal Mask for 180. If he's got game with Gust, he's got game with Gust. Let's see if he's got it. That kind of sucks whiffing that. If I'd have known he's got the Switch, and he can go straight back into Blood Moon if he's got a Gust. Yep, he's got the Gust. That's really unfortunate. Wait, no! You just misplayed! You have just misplayed. You have just massively misplayed. If you go into that bet, you lose. You should have gusted one of the Teal Masks, not this. Oh, I think my opponent has just buggered up massively. I don't think he's realised it. Unless he's trying to think I don't have a way out. There is no way you've just done that. Absolutely no way. That's crazy. Again, not paid actor before anyone thinks that. How did he not realise that? Does no one read cards anymore? I want to see his reaction when he comes up with Blood Moon, thinks he's got game. Unless this is deliberate. Okay, I'm not even going to question anymore. Energy Switch. Onto the Clefairy. Retreat. Into Teal Mask. And blow up the Zoroark. What was his game plan there, genuinely? I do not know. And there's our Latias finding out the prizes. It sucks though that we could start because of missing out on our Prime Catcher, but it's not that big of a deal. We worked with it, we dealt with it, and we got to do some insane damage with Teal Mask Ogerpon. I know obviously that wasn't exactly a Lillie's Clefairy showcase, but well, in some matchups, Clefairy just isn't really worth using. But obviously the ladder does end soon, but obviously by the time this video comes out I'll have reset the ladder, but still. So what do I think of the deck? This was a very fun deck to play. I really enjoyed playing it. It felt really fun to play. I will say I definitely think you need an answer to Cornerstone, which is a lot easier. Like I said, there's the Baby Teal Mask Ogerpon. There's a few other grass attackers that I can think of, like the Zarude could also be an option, but obviously that takes 2 E-switches to do it. But yeah, there's definitely some room to maneuver with this list, like what you can and can't put in it. I think the Baby Teal Mask, let me just find it first, because I think it's a Teal Mask Ogerpon. Yeah, here he is. So obviously it's for opponent's bench Pokemon, so it would still require a 2-shot. But if you played something like a Vitality Band in this list, if you could somehow fit it in, that could potentially work. But anyway, I'm going to leave it all to it for today. Really hope you enjoyed seeing Clefairy with Teal Mask Ogerpon, and I'll see you next time.